is a really great thing I wanted to share. It's about being a foreigner and about reaching out to others.
How many of you know that loving people is not always easy? Sometimes even loving our own family is not very easy. When God first called me into missions, it felt like God always gave me a grace for the people that I was going to serve. When I was in my early 20s, I always desired to go to Paraguay. And when I went, I remember the first thing people would say was, "Where's Paraguay?" They're just like this forgotten group of people. If you know South America on the map, they're right below Brazil. And if you know anything about South America, they all hate the neighboring country that they border. So if you're Paraguayan, you don't like the Brazilians and all that. And I remember going to Paraguay, and I just had such a love for them. And I loved them all the time. I never felt like I got impatient with them. I always felt like I could listen to them, and they could go on. And I just had such a love for them. A few years later, God called me to go to Bangladesh. If anybody even knows where Bangladesh is, I'd be very surprised. It used to be part of the country of Pakistan, and then they divided, and it borders right on the corner of India. It's one of the poorest countries in the entire world. In fact, the other day, my friend Andrea said, "I don't even know how you lived there," because she came and flew out and did a kids thing there, and she's like, I don't know how you survived there. It's 100% Muslim. I was a single girl living there, but I just remember having such a love for the Bengalis. I just loved it there. I was never on a countdown to come home. I could spend my whole life there if God asked me to. I just loved them. After Jay and I got married, he asked us to go to France, and all of you know what people think about the French, right? Why would you go there? They're so rude. They're so arrogant. They're so full of themselves. All the things they've done to America, blah, 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 blah. And I remember going there to one of the most atheist countries in the entire world and just loving the French people. And we loved them. We invited them into our home. We spent so much time with them. We've seen God do amazing things in them. And then God calls us to Egypt. First of all, let's just classify it as the Middle East. And instantly there's this anger that people would express to us and our entire family. Why would you go there? Why would you waste your time? Why would you go to the Middle East and tell them about Jesus? But God gave us such a love for the Egyptians. And we loved them, and we saw that God still loved them. And I feel like when God calls you to something, he gives you such a grace for it. Well, a few days ago, I entered the friendly neighborhood store, Walmart. Yes. I had to return something that I bought. We went like at 9 p.m., worst time to go. And I took my whole family, and we all went, and I needed to return something, another thing you don't want to do. The line was like around the corner. And Jay looks at me and he's like, "Really? We're going to do this right now?" And I said, "Give me the receipt. I'll stand here. You go do whatever you got to do, and then I'll meet you after." I think 25 minutes later, I think we moved one person. There was like one person behind the counter and a lot of frustrated people. I saw kids crying and screaming and other kids ramming carts into people, and I saw a guy in front of me just rolling his eyes, and I'm looking at everybody, and instantly I felt God tell me, all of these people that you're watching right now, they are made in my image, and I love them just as much as I love you. And they're no more valuable, and you're not more important than them by any means. And then I looked at them and I was like, wow. When God calls you to something, you have a grace for it. But sometimes we don't have a grace for those even closest around us. And sometimes it could be with a family member. We try to avoid certain people that we know want to take all of our time and our attention. But I want to encourage you to love your neighbor as yourself and to really value the relationship and be Jesus in all forms and in all ways to all those around you, even at the neighborhood Walmart. Amen.